And there you go. I think that should be working now perfectly. I think, because had some technical difficulties there for a second. That was all good. I believe so. Anyone able to check?
Oh, so the radius of the
Should
Check
be
what?
should be up and running.
The builder test just ended.
Builder test just ended. Oh damn. That's so sad.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Right.
Good thing I took some screenshots.
You lot tested it. You lot tested it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
All good, all good. All right, so we are here today, guys, on the 5th one. Sorry, again, doing it again, sounds like it. 5th one of the Anvil Community Chat. So today, once again, we have Air Mike Bias, Rivali, Steelhand, and Rooster. So we'll of course talk over the same usual topics. We'll explain to everyone what was updated from the last test. We'll talk about the likes and the dislikes that we experienced during that test. We'll have a random topic as well within the Anvil topics that we will have, and of course we'll have our opinions on the end of what could be improved, what might be added on, what we might experience as well, which we've already possibly seen, but yes. So yeah, let's go to the updates. I did not write most of them down. I should have written these down actually, but we could just quickly glance over them anyways. So the main stuff, what do you guys remember some of the main stuff from that update?
New building up.
Animal mechanics got changed.
Homesteads, I know, and animals got changed. So homesteads got updated.
Yeah, we're not talking about the dev branch. We're talking
Yeah,
about
we're not talking about dev
Yeah,
branch,
we're not talking about dev branch, by the way.
We're talking about straight up just
Tavern was new. This marketplace, they changed a bunch of shit.
Tavern. Well, Tavern was already, wasn't it from last update?
No,
last update.
Nope.
Was it not? Oh yeah, because we. That was
That was the first. This is the first one.
Dev branch was the first instance, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the first big one.
So yeah, so that was the homesteads update was, I remember, basically you can now build homesteads anywhere. So kind of just a bit of a crazy way to do it. So you can have little villages here and there.
They're not attached to towns anymore, so you don't need to be pledged to a town to make a homestead. You can just make a homestead anywhere, but you can also pledge to a town and then make a family hall in that town. So they're still kind of useful. And also you need to have certain things for the make stuff.
Your microphone's a bit sounds a bit deep, Rooster, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Don't know if it will come out clearly, that's all. I'll have to try and repeat most of the stuff that Rooster says if anyone doesn't hear it properly. So yeah, we have that, and we also have now, so there's a standard and now large homestead. Of course, large you need a couple people to build with, whilst the other one is just, I guess, just like you could build it by yourself, right? Yeah, the other one was just built by yourself. Of course, within that, the large one can carry up to 50 members. I assume then it would be half of that amount on the small one, the regular one. We didn't actually, I don't know if anyone actually tested that or checked it, but I'm assuming it is because it's the same homestead from the previous test, so that's probably the default one, and they just made a larger one for that one. The animals had a big change, so now animals, of course, do not have any more, what's it called? What are they called? Little things.
Dens.
Dens, there you go, thank you. Yeah. Do not have dens, so no more dens. It's all wild spawns. They're all wild spawns. And they are, depending on how many people.
Yeah, they're dependent on the people that
raise the amount of spawning.
Oh, it's more random spawning with the amount of players that are around. It seems like it just spawns in front of you. I've noticed.
Yeah, so yeah, it definitely does. We noticed it even on one of the attacks.
So can you imagine doing a raid? I haven't played last test because I was up north, but I know like some people were talking about they were trying to raid, but the animals were in front of them.
Yeah,
they'll just spawn in front of them out of the blue. So
yeah,
I think that's.
we'll go deeper into it. We're just gonna quickly go through this. Taverns was of course added, so this helps with there was like a boost. It was a buff. You get a buff. So you receive a buff. Depending on how many. Spelled that wrong. Depending on how many people are inside the tavern. Oh my god, I spelled it even more wrong. What the fuck?
They also have pie and bread in there you can buy.
Yeah, it's definitely a cheap way of making food without having to ever make food again.
Yeah, it makes cost of wheat like useless, kind of.
Yeah,
kind of just push it into making like chicken feed at that point.
I do think the idea of having like table food and then ration type food, like food that you're on the travels, might be better. But then again, I don't know if they'll ever do something like that.
Yeah, I hope it's more like somebody has to put resources and stuff in, and then you can pay for stuff to come out. But it's like not like you can't like take the rations out. You just get like a food source or something in the tavern itself.
Yeah, and there's 4 different variations of food that you can eat.
Well, it's kind of like
Central Marketplace was also the new one, so that I was trying to remember.
Yeah, that definitely needs some work.
Yeah. Well, we'll get more deeper into it. So Central Marketplace is the new replacement for the old Marketplace. We now are able to everyone is able to have a bunch of stuff inside there at once. So it's like I don't know how to describe it to another game. There are other games that have similar things to it, but yeah, you can have just multiple items inside for sale, which is kind of great without that, because like technically now you're not limited to, what was it, like 8, wasn't it? I think slots we had before. I don't remember what it was. I think it was 8 slots before. It was something along those lines where it was 8. But yeah, so that was the other new thing. I think there was a town workshop as well that was added in. That was the new crafting of
water, gravel, reinforced planks,
gravel,
and copper nails,
planks,
which plays a big role now.
Yeah,
I guess if you were like a farmer and you wanted to sell a bunch of like building supplies all the time, then you might become useful in the long run for the entire faction.
Yeah,
I think
but that's the thing. They need to fix the marketplace a little bit. That's all it is. They need to do something with it. But we'll get, like I said, we'll get more into that in a moment. We'll get all the notes down. I've got a bunch of, I think, a couple for those as well. What else was like the main things? I think the rest of it was just kind of things were removed. There was meat drying rack was removed. The tutorial got updated.
They changed the map a little bit.
Yeah, they changed the map, so that I guess we could add that. That was a bigger one. So map on the north was updated, or changed technically, I guess, because it was quite kind of like a big section just got moved from the right to the left. It was like an earthquake or something happened. I don't know what happened there. So there's now tax decay prevention now gets sent to the nearest town. So if you lived outside of one of the homesteads that we were talking about before, now that your tax goes to the nearest town that's there. Beacon tower detection range based on altitude has been adjusted to feel more intuitive. Yeah.
I didn't really test that out, so I'm not really sure. But
I did, but we'll talk about that more. But so family halls no longer have interiors, so they did change the family halls a bit more there. There's now town beds and homestead beds. So of course you got homestead beds, which is the main spawn bed, and town bed is the town bed. So you have those ones which are I think the town beds, I don't know if, did they take soldier supplies? I don't know if they did they?
Oh, I know the last branch they had it where it was basically I could put regular beds into the town center. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really check or test that properly, but
Did we see how far away you could like? I guess essentially teleport to the town, because you could be pledged to a town and make a homestead like a million miles away, and theoretically just teleport between two, right?
I think so, because I was able to do it. It just kept saying you need a town bed, but I was like, oh damn, should have made a town bed and tested it out.
I said it a few times. It's just like with like why your core needs to have tents. That's basically the redeployed spawns for anyone that's trying to come to you. And then like, okay, there's a way to technically have 2 inventory slots. One is your primary, and then the other one is your like redeploy character. So you can technically like when you redeploy to a city and then like, you know, sorry, I have to write it down because it's like it's kind of complicated how it all works, because like you can carry some inventories from your homestead to the core in your inventory, redeploy, get more resources, and then you can like travel, do whatever you want, die, and then when you die, you'll respawn with your original character and have all those resources that you collected back at your homestead. I was gonna make a little video out of it, but it's really complicated to do, or like it's kind of tricky. And I don't think it's gonna be intended in the future.
Yeah, that sounds like a bug to me. You're basically saying you can have like another life where you have a bunch of shit away from your homestead, and then when you die, you get teleported back to your homestead.
But does it take soldier supply? I mean, does it take the reinforcement supplies?
I don't think it would. I think only tents would take reinforcement supplies.
Basically, so your original, like, let's just say if you're farming your character and you're like a fighting character, if you farm any from say your homestead to the core and you collect whatever resources along the way, and then you redeploy to your fighting character and your fighting character dies for whatever reason, when you spawn back at your homestead, or if you choose the core, your farming body will spawn with all your stuff back at whatever place you choose. Probably your homestead, probably your core. It's really up to you.
Are you talking about when you get called to fight?
If you get called to fight, or you choose to go to your homestead and redeploy, or go to a camp for that point. Anything with the redeploy or like call back, which is just the core and the homestead and sorry, I said core, siege camps, and homesteads, but you can't access your like not allied homesteads. It has to be your homestead. So it's literally just siege camps and cores that you can only do it to.
All right. Anyways, I was writing down all the stuff whilst you were chatting about that. I'm going to go through them just really quick. So, animal vision restricted at night. I don't know if
that really did anything, to be honest.
Did work or didn't work, but I feel like it did, because it only spotted. I only got spotted when I actually got in range of it, basically. So I think it did work. Horse and donkeys are now easier to upkeep for hunger. You get more seeds yielded from farms, which is really nice. Nails are used to now repair items within the repair bench. There's also now a slot also within the repair bench for the nails, so you don't have to actually have the item in your hand, which is nice. And boat and handcut size was increased to 9, and wagon was increased to 12. So those were, I feel like, the major ones. The rest were kind of just stuff being removed, things were tweaked, and certain landscapes, and of course certain items for I guess physics and so on. So let's go to what we liked about that, and we'll start off with the likes. So I don't know, we'll go with who am I gonna go for first? Let's go for Steel then. We'll go for you, sitting there quietly. Go on.
Yeah, I definitely like that we have more space in our carts and wagons now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really nice.
I do agree with that one. That's a big like, definitely.
Yeah. Didn't they reduce it at some point to like fewer That's a while back though, but
Reduce what? The space in the handcarts?
Yeah. The space in the handcart. I'm pretty sure they reduced that. That's a long time ago though, but yeah, I think they did that.
Maybe a long time ago. Maybe, I don't know. But I do agree that it's much nicer now. It's a bit less painful on certain journeys back and forth when you've got the extra 3 slots. Was it 3 slots? Yeah.
It's 3 more slots, which is really good for like. That's 3 more barrels. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Just a lot less more.
The animation for the barrels looks kind of funny, honestly, but it still looks kind of good, I guess. It doesn't look like it's a disaster with the 3 extra barrels on top of it. But yeah, those are really good. You got anything else then, Steel, that you enjoyed?
I think the tavern, that was a good addition.
You like the tavern, yeah?
Yeah. Like
for the buff. You like the
the buff. You could say, "Oh, let's go out hunting bears," for example, and then you all gather up into the tavern and go skull and drink 1 beer, and then just go ham on bears or boars, whatever. And you have a boost that lasts you a lot longer the more people there are.
What were you doing to those bears?
Killing them.
Oh, you said going ham on them.
And skinning.
It's a bit sussy stuff. But yeah, that was definitely. I feel like I liked it as well. That was a nice little thing to add in, where we have a little bit of a boost now to use to help us out with whatever it is, whether it's gathering, farming, hunting, going out for a raid, maybe. But yeah, to explain.
I don't know how noticeable the buff is. It didn't really feel like I was getting a lot, but I know
feel like the bigger one,
people testing it, and when they would, when you would swing in combat, you basically never lose stamina, that was pretty crazy to me.
It was definitely there's 3 stages of the buff. There's one where it just shows you a bed. There's one then with a plus on the bed, and there's 2 pluses then on the bed. We don't think there was ever any other one. We tried to cramp in, I think, a couple more extra people, and it didn't happen. Any extra buffs, but yeah, it was very noticeable when you do have the tier 3 buff, I guess, because it buffs quite a bit. Whilst the tier 1 and the tier 2, I don't think it wasn't that really. I don't know. I don't think. Did anyone else?
The buff was the same. The buff was the same. It's just how long it lasted. So I think the T1 buff lasted like 5 minutes or something, and then it was like 15 minutes, and then it was 30 minutes. For the 30-minute one, you could definitely feel it because you're just like always had it. Always had it up.
Yeah, that's probably maybe why I didn't feel it. I don't know. It felt too short, but. I
didn't really like how there was just like a region, you're like, now you're like, oh, we're going to go do such and such. Then you're like, okay, where we're going to meet up. Before it was always like, meet up in front of the gate, or meet up in front, whatever. Now it's meet up in front of the tavern, so everyone can get the buff, which I think is it's a really cool game mechanic, because then like, if you're just thinking about if you're like a random and you're just running around and you see a bunch of people in the tavern, you're like, oh, I'm going to go join whatever these guys are doing.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
It's a nice little, I do want to sit down there, definitely, in that tavern. Just make more room as well, because then you have people sitting down and then people standing. Would be nice.
I didn't like how there was no music in the tavern. That was bullshit.
That's so true. No music.
Because they had, I don't remember what it was, but they had like a building. I think it was like back when there was like the old houses that you would make. You would, there was music that would come from the place, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. I wish there was more of that.
Yeah, what house was it? I'm trying to remember that now.
I think it was like the original homestead when you can build like a little baby house, and then you could build like the big family house thing.
No, it wasn't a homestead. It was something else. I think it was like a.
Well, it wasn't the homesteads we know now. It was like they called it something different. I don't remember what they called it.
I know those were houses.
Yeah, it was like the housing.
Those were houses, but there was something else that we built. I don't remember what it was.
There was that like tiny building, like the Otter House or something.
Oh look, he's actually here. Hello, Vodka.
That's how you doing?
My special guest has arrived.
Should I leave my sword by the door, or can I enter with it?
You can enter with it. You can enter with your drink. Gotta check your ID quickly. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Go on. I usually the bartender, so I know the procedure. How you lads doing? All good?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah,
we're
we're
all
good.
good.
Did Raj pop in here or?
No, so I did speak to Raji about it. So what was it? I was trying to get, of course, you and him, but he said I think he was a bit busy with something. I don't know. He's got something IRL, so if he might pop in later on. If he does, then he does. If not, then
Did
it's
you
fine.
guys start for long? I'm involved with the Euro elections in my country here in my city. So I've been there just analyzing that they do the voting right, and tomorrow it's gonna be from 5 in the morning till 12 in midnight. So tomorrow I'm gonna have a very hellish day in all aspects.
No, we're kind of like we're at the point where we're talking about our likes and dislikes for the previous test. I'm gonna go to you now since you've just popped in. What did you like about the previous test, and what was your main kind of, I don't know, couple points that you have that you enjoyed from that last test?
So we're just talking good sides here.
Yeah, good sides, the good stuff right now. We're talking about the good stuff. So what did you enjoy? What was your likies?
I mean, it was also my first test. I'm a Vauxhall veteran myself, so I really enjoyed the kind of transfer from that, because it's obviously you eliminate a lot of artillery and parts that it's.
Don't worry, that's gonna come later.
yeah. Eventually gonna add trebuchets. I mean, for my first test, I enjoyed it a lot. Maybe because it was the first one. I'd rather have more to say on the bad sides. Like, for example, the animals were off the hook when we had our little siege there and we backed off. I have a print screen of this, bro. There were hundreds of animals when we did it.
I think we've
Hundreds
got a clip
of them.
of that as well. But yeah, did you not like? So what did you like though in general? So like, what was your big like out of it? I don't know, like your any of the new stuff, the structures, the gameplay, the hunting.
Generally, everything worked pretty much alright. Gameplay wise, I don't think there's something that was like from the things that already implemented. I don't think that they did a bad job with those, but obviously on the sides of like the animal spawns and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, fucking ravens need a little bit of a rework, shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But so, I'm not here. I can't say I would like to address one issue in special. I would rather have some things that could probably, be done better or get better implementation or a better overwork. But I think on the good side, the game looked pretty solid to me.
That's good then. At least we know then for new players, then it's not a bad, I guess, introduction for them to come in. I guess you enjoyed it yourself. You said so. You enjoyed the aspects of the gameplay. Of course, it's a big change from Foxhole from gun shooting to swords slashing and arrows and that. So I guess you enjoyed it all. Did you do any crafting or anything like that? Did you try?
Yeah, I got myself used to 90% of the mechanics before the wipe ended, so I just kind of learned the game and then jumped on everything else that needed to be done. So I did a little bit of everything. I learned the mechanics. I think they're pretty alright. Obviously, there's things, especially siege-wise, that they need to implement and stuff.
Yeah, we'll probably be talking about that as well later on.
Maybe the combat overall, like cavalry, needs reworking because it doesn't really have a place into the meta combat, quote unquote.
It definitely does.
It definitely does. It definitely does. It's
hard to find it.
Yeah, hard to master. Easy to explain, but hard to master. But yeah, we'll get to that anyway. So we're gonna carry on anyways for the rest of the likes. So I don't know if who are we on now? Let's go to Mike. Mike, were you on last test? I don't know if you were actually on last test. You were on a little bit,
A
weren't
bit.
you?
I missed most of it, but I was on the last day.
So what did you like then from your last day of that test? And what was your enjoyable bit of that test?
Honestly, as a Logi main, the biggest thing that I liked was the fact that seeds are now a little less of a pain to deal with.
Seeds, yeah, definitely. The seeds was very painful from the previous ones. I agree. Like, it's the output is now so much better. I think one time I got an output of 26 seeds from the 20 thing, which was actually a very lucky roll. I luckily got, but yeah, the next one then I got like 17 out of 20, so it was a bit different. But yeah, the first one was very, very lucky.
Yeah,
I imagine copper and bronze were probably hard to find. Imagine.
Not really, at least for us. But like about the seeds, it's the combination of the fact that now crops drop both multiple crops and multiple seeds, and that horses and donkeys require less food now. So it's kind of like a combination of both that really makes it a lot less of a pain to deal with going out and trying to get more seeds all the time. Like I remember the test before the last one, we had one guy just constantly out there gathering seeds, like not doing anything else, and I don't know, like that just was very painful to have. He was annoyed, we were annoyed, but it had to be done. But now it's a lot better.
Sorry about that, guys. What did I just about crop season and stuff, yeah.
Is it like fully self-sustaining now, like on average?
No.
It is and it isn't, because like it really depends on the rolls. So it lasts a bit longer, so you don't have to go out more seed hunting, really, which is the best thing I enjoy. As in the seed hunting, as in not going out for seed hunting is what I mean. Screw seed hunting. But it's so much nicer now that you can farm and you don't have to like, I don't know, let's say farm once or twice and that's it, and then your farm's gone. And it's like, all right, we'll have to go out to the wild again. You know, now it's like you can last at least a couple days worth of a bit of farming, and then you're like, okay, now we can go for seed hunting again because we've run out and we're low and all that stuff. And it's kind of nice because then the output also helps out with chicken feed and horse feed, which also was a major thing that was a problem between the seeds decision. It was either, do we give the seeds to the farm, or do we give the seeds for the horse to survive, or the chicken to produce more eggs and feathers?
Or do you sell it?
Yeah, or you sell it, you know. That's why I was the man that always ended up buying it all back. I was like, no, give it. I need this.
Yeah, like I'm personally very much against the devs making foraging obsolete.
It's not making it obsolete.
It's part of the game.
It's still foraging.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm against that, and I'm really happy that even though like you still need to go out and gather, it's a lot less painful now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely not making it obsolete though, because you still have to go out foraging for fiber and twigs sometimes, and also the flint if you need flint for arrows as well. So you still go out foraging because you still need those 3 main items. Plus, like, if you find seeds along the way, it's going to be nice anyways along the way, and you take them back to your farm. So it's pretty handy.
I feel like but my only issue with the seeds is I feel like there's not really an incentive to grab them because they just give you, they give you the cabbage seeds and then you have to take them to a homestead to like process them. I feel like if you could use them in another way, like while you're out and about, because like if you gather 3 twigs, you gather some berries, you can make a berry ration. You gather flint, you can make like some other things, but with the seeds, it's like it's only for farming and it's only for the food, and
for the food,
it just kind of sucks to just grab it if you're just running around and having fun.
If you use the seeds to like go into like taming like horses and donkeys, that like if you just get like a few horses along the way on like a farming run, when you're done farming and you just bring them back, now you have like a faster way to like go around the world for like either PvP or for gathering faster, like, and getting around. So it's not as tedious for you. And I feel like that's what people don't really utilize is like taming the horses, because it's like it was a pain for some or most, I would say. But I don't know. I think moving around faster is always a great way in a positive reinforcement in the game.
But do you think that's made it easier then to tame horses since the seed output is more or less then? Because like you don't have to worry about then food as much because then you have more seeds to split between the farm and your horses.
Well, I imagine if you log off and you notice your horses are gone every time you log off, that could be an indicator.
Yeah, but
if you're logging off and there's horses are still on, then that's nice.
You just do the method of just having a pen full of like baby horses and donkeys because they don't despawn. So you just, if anyone wants to tame them really fast in your group, then it's 12 horse feed, and then you're bam, you're set. You're helping out everyone else, or you're helping yourself. I don't know. There's just ways to do it to be like better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's how it is, but it's kind of nice that they did that anyways for those seeds. I feel like it was such a good idea that we were happy anyways. We were like, yes, finally, victory to the seeds, victory to not constantly going out, every 5 minutes just to get more seeds because we've run out on the plot already, like in 2 seconds. Because the output before was dreadful. It was like you went through one plot and I think you got 2 free seeds back, and it's like, wow, is that it? Like, I got 2 free seeds back. It's not really much, sometimes like some of it.
They should make it closer to 50%, so you don't get full refund on one crop, but you definitely need to get enough back to like.
Yeah, that's what it is now. Basically, it's like a chance-based. It's a chance-based system where you either get double what you get, or you get like a single, or you get just maybe even more than a double. You could get even 3 times more. But yeah, it's a chance-based system now, which is so much nicer. So you don't always get the full amount back. You get like a little bit less.
It adds to like having a good crop and having a bad crop sort of thing, which I like. I'm for that.
Basically, it's so much better than before. I know this is your first time, but trust me, if you did farming on before, you'd hate it straight away, and you'd be like, I can't be bothered. I gotta do more seeds now running.
I'm more of an action lad myself, but
Let's say like +3 cabbage seeds. Like if you like watered consistently and had like fertilizer on it, you get like tier 3 crops. Or if you did like not as well on the farming, lowers the tier.
Because then,
by the way, is the weather implemented?
Weather implemented to it, yeah. So I know rain. We've tested this before with rain. We know rain actually helps with the moisture of the land. So the land actually stays a bit wet longer when it's raining. Snow, we don't know if it actually done anything. I don't think anyone like
cold damage
done anything for that.
Consistent cold.
Yeah, we didn't really check that. And autumn and spring as well. I don't think it really did much changes. I know it changes a lot for the tanning racks. Like during the winter and when it's raining, it's much harder to tan pelts, which was pretty cool actually, because it makes sense there as well anyways, because less sun, less tan, so it takes longer. I think even on the winter it just doesn't tan at all, I believe so. I think also on the rain. But yeah, if it's raining or snowing, then yeah, you got no tanning at all basically.
I eventually think the aqueducts would stop working in the winter and your crops would stop working.
They might. You
and
never
the
know.
rain, it should water your crops, at least it have some.
It's meant to water, but I guess all they've got right now is that it keeps the moisture longer for the farmland. So you still have to water it, but it's just a little bit less watering basically. So what else? Did anyone else like anything else? I don't know. Did you guys enjoy the new marketplace? Did you guys think it was nice? I thought it was okay. I think okay.
I think it needs improvement. Like
I personally wasn't too impressed with it.
Compared to the previous marketplaces, I actually prefer this one because it's
definitely
it's just one building that you place.
Yeah. And you have to like have 6 of them like in different areas in people's homesteads and be like, oh, now I have to go to that homestead to buy something. Now I have to go over there to buy something. All it is you just go straight to their town hall, find the marketplace, and you buy it, and you have a list of everything. But yeah, but I felt it was okay. Definitely needs some fixing, but it was still good. for what it is. So better than before, basically, I guess.
Well, there's an issue with like silver now, so like the only way to get silver is just passively farming. But like
yeah.
I like mechanics in the old system for the merchant where like you can sell to the merchant and that gives you silver. Because
then
like
you can make
currently,
a profit if you have the price higher than the default price as well, which was nice.
well, there's a default price which you can buy those resources, but also like it also gives a flow of cash or like currency in the game, so you can actually go out and like you're gathering for a few stacks of twigs or a few stacks of flint actually is worth something, so you can actually go out and buy, you know, the resources to make whatever upgrades or buy a sword or anything really.
Definitely.
But right now it's a limited like silver like flow of economics. It's just very it's like dripped, I would have to say.
Yeah, it definitely needs so I'll put that on the bad one then. So flow of silver doesn't come from the marketplace. Because yeah, before we had it where it was, of course, as soon as you put it in the marketplace, you got the default price, and of course, if you raise the price of that specific item, you then get a profit if someone actually buys it back. So if you, let's say, a berry costs 5 default, so you get 5 instantly from the marketplace, but then if you sell it for 6 or 7, then if someone buys it, you get 2 extra coins later on when they actually buy it though. But yeah, now I guess, yeah, it definitely needs a fix, but that's why it's okay for now. It's better than what it was before, but it definitely needs some sort of rework of some kind to it, 100%. So what did you guys think of the nails though, the copper nails? That was a nice, good, and amazing change. I liked as well. What did you think of it? I liked it. I don't know about you guys, but I loved it. The copper nails.
I thought it was, but I thought
honestly, you can just repair stuff really quickly and neatly. It was good for me. I know how it was before.
Yeah. So to explain to you before, you did you see any repair materials beforehand? Like so not copper nailed, but there was these things called repair materials. Did you ever see anything like that?
No, but I'm guessing is what they got transferred into nails.
So that was,
repair materials is still a thing. It's just you don't use them for.
Yeah, so that was what was before, and you couldn't put any copper nail, not copper nails. Sorry, the reinforced, not reinforced. What am I saying?
Repair materials.
Sorry, my bad. Wrong R. Repair materials. You couldn't put that in the repair bench beforehand. So now it's just now it's changed where it's copper nails can go into the repair bench, and also is the new thing for repairing things, which is really nice.
I think it'll work for 2-day tests, but in terms of like the game always being online when it comes out, I think they're gonna have to change that because the weapons and flow.
It's probably gonna have to be on tiers, so you know it's a bit awkward that you repair leather with copper nails, for example, and then also you repair with copper nails, which is kind of, let's say, to 3 tiers, right? So you're repairing with a tier 2 item things that are also first tier, but also the 3rd tier. So they kind of need to like make maybe iron nails after that, and then I don't know, just
well, this is the first attempt they've done it for nails, and I guess it's gone well. We like it. We like where it's going. It's made copper a better use. Well, not a better use, but another use to it, because before it had no other uses except making bronze, and now tin has no use. So maybe they might think of something for tin soon. Who knows? We'll see about that. But right now, the copper nails to repair items and having it within the workbench, repair bench, I mean, is just amazing, because it makes it so much easier. All you have to do is just shove your item in and click repair, and if it starts getting empty, then you stack up more nails, and that's it. You know,
I would like to see. I like what Solder's idea was when it came to like having a grindstone, and then you sharpen your sword after battle every so often. So like your sword will have like a durability to it, but also have a sharpness to it. And then if the sharper the sword, maybe your durability goes down, that kind of thing, forcing people to make more swords.
Interesting. Oh, I've noted that down now. I kind of like that. I think I've
Yeah,
heard of it, but
that's
never
just
thought
like
of it before.
during these like small patch tests. It's only for 2 days.
Yeah. So what else do we have? I don't know. Does anyone else have anything before I maybe add my little list of items I have on here? Anyone else got any likes, dislikes? I don't know. Who have I missed? Who have I not? Who's not spoken? Rivali, you said something, right? You said some likes. Steel Rooster, did you say something? You just say something. I don't remember.
We didn't talk about the homesteads not being tied to the towns, right? I don't think.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
I
did
could talk
anyone
to
like
you.
that?
That's something I like one.
I'm the one that kind of like that because you could build anywhere now, like it used to be.
Well, I think from a clan perspective, it doesn't really matter. But I think from a solo perspective, it definitely matters. Like you can, you don't have to like join a town. You can build your own defenses and stuff. I do kind of like how you have to go to a town to like get the copper nails from the the town workshop or whatever. That does still feel a little forced in my opinion, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. I like how it's not tied to towns, so there's also you don't have to have like just a bunch of shit littered everywhere by your town anymore. Like just a bunch of empty homesteads. You can.
It is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah, because then they could do their own thing without any problems as well. They can build and live by themselves, I guess. And I don't know. I guess they will miss out on like the workshop stuff, but they could probably still go to a local town and maybe get it themselves and be like, oh, can we trade some stuff to get, or can we use your workshop just to quickly craft some reinforced planks so we can, I don't know, upgrade something or whatever. But I don't know. I guess it still allows them to do what they want, but at the same time, they still need a town anyways because you need those reinforced planks for upgrades or anything like that. So it's like a 50-50 a bit here.
There's a way to do like have both homestead and core, and for the clan thing, I think it could be beneficial, but it's like really hard to pull off because like with the homestead, if you place the homestead first and then you place the core or keep, basically you have such a small amount of time before the keep radius encompasses the homestead radius, and then once that happens, like you can't really do any upgrades or like place anything because the radius won't let you. I think that's a bug, and I think that should be fixed.
Yeah,
but it's if there's organization, you can have like multiple homesteads placed super close, and then you place the core in a certain spot, and then that's
definitely a bug. I think. I don't think that's meant to be intended, but yeah, I guess it's
the last 3 tests it's been in, or at least the 2 dev branches and the minor, it was still possible.
2 dev branches? You mean? Oh yeah, the 2 dev branches. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's just been the last test which actually that happened. So this is the first time we've seen that, and we don't know whether they will probably change it and fix it. This is definitely not gonna. I hope it doesn't stay like that because then it's a bit, bit easier to encompass your homestead within the town hall or next to the town hall. But at the same time, you've ruined space for your homestead if you do that, because then I understand you could get closer, but at the same time you ruin the space then for your town hall. Town hall will take up that space, and
it depends on
you have other structures that you might want inside, but you can't because your town hall's taking up that space.
There's quite a few things though that can like be meshed. Like the only thing that the town hall says you can put a canal channel or canal storage and a well in the radius, but you can't. So that's a bug in itself. But like without like current state of the game and for raiding, the core can't. The homestead
Steam stuff coming through your.
So basically, like the only way to like keep a fight going or way to stop the damage from continuing is wells or water buckets. So I don't know. I just think that's like a huge part of the game for like defense. And if you don't have a close supply of water, then you're put at a more dangerous position for your settlement.
You could put wells anyways in the town core. You know that, right?
No. I've tried it last 2 tests that it wouldn't work.
Well, we tried it on the main test, not the dev branches. We're not talking about dev branches because they're broken. But the main test, it worked.
Can you drag water from a well into an aqueduct?
No, you can't put well into the aqueduct. So the aqueducts only feed water when they come from the what's it called?
Aqueduct pump.
The pump thing. Yeah, that the windmill kind of thing. Not windmill. You know what it is. The water wheel.
Water wheel?
Yeah, the water wheel.
I remember somebody saying that we were a bit far from water and they wanted to do the aqueduct thing, but it was on the lines of we had a homestead between the shore and the actual town, and then in the town you could place the aqueduct, but in the homestead you couldn't. So you couldn't just make a straight line going through homestead territory until you reach your town territory, and you couldn't just make it without a town either way. So unless your town has a radius until the water, you can't really use that feature, can you?
I think you can place them randomly still, like the what's it called, the water wheel on the aqueducts. It's I think it's the storages, the water storages, I think need to be within a homestead radius or something like that to actually work. If not, it won't let you build, I believe so. And it's the same thing with the wells as well. It has to be in a homestead radius or a town radius. So basically, just as long as it's in one of those 2 radiuses and it works, then if it works, then it works. But yeah,
But you also need privilege with the, like, if it's a ally settlement, but you don't have, like, you didn't ally it, then you won't be able to build, or, like, that's why you couldn't make a straight line to your settlement, probably.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Or it might have been height as well, because height as well messes up a lot of it. But anyways, let's go to another point because we're sitting on water here for some reason. So, did you guys enjoy the 50?
Chat that said from Yellow? I believe he's. I don't know who Yellow is, but
That's
I'm
the
pretty
French
sure.
guy.
I've
That's the
French guy.
Yeah.
CDC.
He said he doesn't like that the map it's not super interesting, which I can understand, and the height difference is hard to see. I think especially now with the fall damage, which I don't think we've talked about that yet. It just feels a little janky. It's like you're sliding down a hill and then you just like die immediately because you were sliding it, I guess.
Yeah. That's
do you guys know about the, I don't know if you call it a bug. It's definitely not a feature. Since we're talking about the game now, I'll just say it. I'd rather have no one use it than everybody use it. If you had a handcart and you just eat it off a fucking cliff, you would take no damage whatsoever.
That's a bug.
I did not.
That sounds like a bug to me.
I think it's just not implemented at all. It's not like it's a feature that doesn't work. That would classify as a bug. This is just you take fall damage if you're on your own. If you have a handcart, you don't.
That's a bug. Then you should definitely take full damage. Your handcart should die as well. I feel like at the same time, but I don't know. That definitely should not be that you survive that.
Mate,
because
I'll be honest, living at Blood Castle, that was my favorite feature.
Favorite feature, yeah, 100%. Because you guys live on a cliff. That's so true. But yeah,
don't say you guys, like it's still in practice. It's not.
yeah. But yeah, what was it? Did you guys enjoy though full damage? I remember that's the new one as well. Did you guys enjoy full damage? I kind of liked it. I don't know. I feel like
every time I died to it, I was just like, "Fuck yeah, mate."
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a nice implementation compared to people jumping down from cliffs and just falling on you and then attacking you. It's like, what the hell? Where did you come from? It's like you just came out of nowhere. Like this makes no sense. So having the full damage is kind of nice because finally you won't get Assassin's Creeded on, from 200 feet up in the air. You actually have you have a death or you end up falling over at a certain height as well. But there's also a like to it, but there's a little bit of a dislike to it because I noticed that some cliffs, full damage when you slide down, there's like a certain point where you kind of just slide and it feels like you're not falling because technically the hill is not even that steep, but it forces you
Yeah, it
anyways to
adds up.
slide,
Yeah.
and you die, and it's like, bro, like this wasn't a steep cliff, but I died. So like, so it's like, I guess non-steep
It's like
cliffs that slide.
It's a terrain thing, really. You know,
of like when you are falling, quotation marks, and then when you hit the ground, and like just when, like, if you've been playing the game for a long time and you've just been traveling, you know how like you get stuck on like certain hills and you have to do the slash unstuck, which
Yeah.
in my opinion I do as often or as frequent as I used to, but I still run into like those little occasions. But what you described, Cappy, like with your feet animation, like running, but you're standing still.
Yep.
I think it's tracking or like timing how long you're falling, quotation marks, until you hit the like actual walkable ground.
Yeah, I don't know if it's about how, because I definitely slid quite a bit. It was quite of a slidey hill, that one. I didn't remember it, but like it might be based off how long you're in the air, but I don't think so, because I think it's definitely based off height and not the air time you do.
I was on this current build dev branch with like Air Mike's little like tower of stairs, and I was just like falling off each different like level. And you take variations of damage.
Well, yeah, so
like
there's a point where you take damage, but you don't die, but you fall on your back, which is like kind of like, I guess, breaking your legs, we could say. So you break your legs at one point, but then like once you go higher than that, you start dying because of course you're at a bigger height. But yeah, I'm not sure how exactly it works, but yeah, like I said on that sliding one, I was just sliding for like a bit, but it didn't feel like a steep hill. It felt like a, I don't know, it felt like a 30-degree angle hill or something like that, and I was like still sliding. I was like, why am I sliding? I'm like, this is a hill. Like this doesn't feel steep at all, but I'm sliding and I died. And I was like, well, I'm dead now, you know. There you go.
It's that little moment where you're on the mountain and you make the first few steps and you can't stop, so you go like whoa. That's what it is.
Basically,
it's realism.
That's what it was. It was a slippery, grassy slope. I don't know. There was too much rain on that slope or something. I don't know.
Yeah, make them add the sound. So as soon as you start sliding, you go whoa, and then it's just gonna be sorted.
But yeah. So what else did anyone have? Hold on, I have a couple points still. So we had the new town homesteads with 50 people. Did you guys like that as well now? We don't have to make multiple homesteads to split our massive group. I kind of liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
It's kind of nice to have more people inside. Even though like it didn't feel cramped as well. I felt like it was gonna feel cramped, but at the same time, we managed to put, I think, all the beds inside, right? Like there was enough to put the beds inside, and if not, then you could build some
Raise
beds
your glass
outside.
if you agree.
Yeah.
I like
how more buildings have indoors to them, like town centers, and
I think that will happen.
Almost every building has, even tents, for example.
Taverns have that inside, isn't it now?
Yeah.
I think it will happen.
Yeah,
when there's more structures, we'll have more inside.
I like the big camp to have it too.
I think it's just something about just like, you know, click and eat next to a building and just checking their inventory. It doesn't seem exciting as like you can walk inside the building and there's like little storage areas. And
we'll talk about that on the Drunken Truths. Don't worry. But yeah, anything else that you guys liked? I don't know. There's a few things that I still like, so I'm gonna keep just talking about those. There was the guest member manager as well for the homesteads. I like that as well because it was more control over, I guess, like new people, and then like the trusted people, and then you had the main trusted people, so like the managers, which was actually really good because then I guess you can align for people who you believe is, you know, not stealing your stuff just to get inside your homestead and take your stuff and then leave and join their own homestead, you know. So as a guest role, you have limited amount of access. It's only, I guess, homestead access, but I guess you could take stuff from stockpiles, but still, like, I guess you limit it anyways because the homestead has stuff anyways inside, which was really nice, and it was kind of good, I guess, to implement the little extra role. We also had, I guess, the mortar and reinforced planks. I don't know about you guys. I kind of liked it. A new resource. Not terrible to craft as well, because you got the nails from. You get 5 nails from 1 copper, which is really good. And then you get, was it 1 to 1? Wasn't it 1 nail, 1 plank equals reinforced plank?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
1
One
copper.
nail, one copper nail.
Both do with the what salt rock or whatever it was. It's pretty nice.
Limestone.
Limestone. Yeah.
Oh.
So that made what was it? That was gravel and mortar, and for that, yeah. So limestone made limestone equals gravel, and what was it? Limestone and so it was limestone and mortar. Not mortar. What was it? Limestone and ash and bone though. That was a bit one. That was a bit of a weird one. So I know that was
if you think about the ash, I'm kind of thinking ancient mortar, Roman mortar.
Yeah. The bone though, I don't know what was the bone got to do with it.
Calcium.
I don't know, did you make bone meal out of it or something?
Bone meal, probably.
Yeah, so I'm thinking
It's
bone
probably for
meal,
the
and
calcium.
then to keep it together. I don't know. It sounds like it, maybe to get the ash to stick together to make mortar. But I find that having these new materials is kind of nice. I don't know if about bone though, having it as bone. I feel like maybe a different binding agent could be used, like water or something, like a water bucket. Something like that to add the limestone in that, because it makes more sense, right? Water, limestone, and ash. It's kind of makes what the mixture of cement almost. I guess you're making early tier cement right there.
I just lift a bunch of rocks off the mountain and bring them back to your castle.
Yeah.
Stack them on top of one another.
True. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just start building a rock by rock castle. That'd be crazy if they did that. But yeah, and so I don't know about you guys, but I kind of enjoyed the I don't know about the random spawns so much, but I did enjoy that the random spawns were random. It made it more wildlife, kind of like wild, instead of like, oh, there's a bear spawn over there, let's go over there, kill some bears. Like now it's like you got to walk around and be like, oh snap, there's a bear there now. Okay, let's hunt it down. Let's go get it, because we need the leather for it right now, or we need more bones and fat. I kind of like that, and also I like that the spawns of the nodes, the mines, I mean, were random as well. So you have like here and there spawns in every now and then, depending on, of course, the amount of people are in the area.
About that, a little bit too random, if you ask me. On the top of the cliff, we had a stone mine that was just floating, and we managed to harvest it by building stuff next to the cliff. And we were just floating on the stuff that was built at the bottom, us being at the top and just mining the rock. That's one thing. The other one was one of the iron mines we fully mined out, respawned on one of the pre-made stone bridges between territories. That was also fun. So maybe they should add like a few exclusion zones, like at the bottom of the water and on certain cliffs and stuff like that. Maybe have them spawn more on linear sides, on like cliffs you can access, and just like general open land,
Yeah,
that would be a suggestion I would do.
It's definitely this is just new. They just added it in, so it's definitely gonna need some sort of fix to where it spawns, and not that it spawns, because we've had it as well where we had a couple spawn like on the side of a cliff just floating. We had ones that were just floating near a cliff. I think they just need to fix, of course, where they spawn and what's like a spawn zone for it. So they need to like outline it, flat lands and whatnot, maybe, like, or just make sure it's even to the ground, because we've had ones where also they spawn kind of they spawn, but they're like not on the ground. They're kind of just floating a little bit, and they are touching the cliff, I guess you could say, not the cliff, the hill kind of, because of, I guess, the way it spawned. It's a bit weird, but I guess they do need to fix that 100%. But yeah, I think that's about it. I've got nothing else really extra. I've got
well, for the
again.
wildlife, from the wildlife, like playing on the Steam Deck with the new change, I thought it was a little more difficult just because like how weird the spawns were. So it was kind of like, not that the controls are super hard to like do, but with the technically the like it's like frame rate I get like 40, maybe 30, but depending on the area of like animals, it will drop the frame rate significantly. So dodging that like maneuver where they do like a little sprint animation is kind of a challenge. So I kind of kept dying to wildlife.
Sounds like a skill issue, man, to me.
It was. It's a skill issue. On PC,
sounds like
it's
Steam
like
Deck is not good. It wasn't made for Steam Deck. It doesn't sound like it then.
Fuck you, Cappy. I'm on this podcast on my Steam Deck right now. Fuck you.
Well, if it's working for if Air Mike's able to do it, sounds like a skill issue then for Rooster, then, I guess. Maybe. But yeah, I think so. My last point for the good things was the transition zones. I don't know. I didn't have any problems at all. I heard some people did, but I feel like that might have just been a bug where some people died.
Only one thing ever happened to me. We were in a boat.
Yeah.
2 people. We go transition zone. He loads slower than I do. I load in. I kept moving. He loads in. He was back in the water. He died.
Yeah.
It's the same as the foxhole thing.
Yeah, you gotta wait for your team basically to.
I didn't realize, man. I was rolling some weed and doing some other shit at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like.
All right. So we'll do the no likey stuff now. I guess the bad stuff. What you guys really hated, maybe.
Ravens. Fuck Ravens.
Animals in general just sucked.
Well, I don't know. Well, the Ravens are Ravens. I think Ravens we're used to Ravens by now. It's definitely the quantity. Let's go with the quantity of spawning when it comes to the animals. We definitely know
quantity and aggro bug.
What do you mean aggro bug? Like,
so you would have, for example, I think this is how it works. This is how I experienced it. You have a guy going in front of you aggroing an animal, yeah? But that animal is behind either a structure, a node, or some entity that he gets stuck, like nodes or trees or any structure, yeah?
Yep.
If you go behind that guy and the aggro didn't just reset in the same time, if he aggroes you and he gets unstuck, he will bullet next to those things right into you like a fucking car, bro.
I think that's meant to be like that. I think that's meant to be where they meant to charge at you, of course. But the speed, that we'll talk about the speed as well. The speed has definitely changed since the last time we had.
They would have different speeds between the thing. This is why I consider it much of a bug, because if the guy goes in front of me, he aggroes the thing, and then the pig just switches to me and he aggroes me. Okay, you could not reset the timer. Obviously, he was angry already. Makes sense for him to just jump at you. This is not my concern. If he was stuck before, he kind of compensates for the movement speed he couldn't do, and he just has this long burst. It feels unnatural to the extent like they implemented in game. Like if this happened to you, you would know what I was about, but probably it just didn't. That's fine as well.
It might be also the pathing. So the way it works with pathing on the new animals, they actually fixed it quite a bit, where now the animals won't get stuck on items as much. So they try to path their way around that said item, because before we were able to get animals stuck left, right, and center, like on campfires, on rocks, on like just any general kind of object. A lot of times it was just getting stuck on. So now the pathing has improved a lot since then, where it won't try and go straight for that item. It will try and go round and then go for you if you're trying to, I don't know, I guess, get them stuck. But yeah, it probably will try to avoid it as much as possible, but at times it can still, I guess, bump into that item and then maybe go round. But that's what it's meant to do anyways. It's meant to like avoid the structure and then charge at you. But I definitely agree with the speed of the animal is a bit too fast.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not about it switching aggro or just the patting going stuck, because I got them stuck anyway. Don't ask me how, I just managed. But it's about, like, if it would get stuck, and I would be center on the other side of the node being a quite wide object, it would just try to, like, pencil its way in the middle and was just, like, kind of, ramming its head in the middle. And then if I leave, for the animal not being able to get to me because of patting or whatever, the next guy that aggroes that animal, even if the aggro breaks, so it's just standing there, he would get instantly charged by that animal because he's not longer in the blind spot. He's not behind the node where I was. He's on the other side where it's free, right?
Oh, that makes sense. That's meant to happen though, where it changes the target. If it's already on its charge, it will change
keeps
target.
the speed. It keeps the speed from the previous aggro.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
That's not really a problem. I feel like that's still a good thing because if it's charging at something and then it's like, oh, fresh meat, it's closer to me or it's in my vision, I'm gonna go for that one first and not go for the target that I was just going for. It will definitely go for that other target. And we've had this before with other animals where it changes targets depending on which one's closer, but it makes sense.
If you're equipped, you deal with it, but unless you kind of know about it, or if it's your own teammate that tells you, oh, careful, I aggro blocked this pig over there, careful about it, you're just walking at night and you instantly get charged, no warning, no nothing.
Well,
and it's like...
That's his problem then, isn't it?
It's like the...
yeah. It's just like
I mean, if they have the normal walking or charging speed, that would be fine. But I reckon they're just faster when they get stuck and unstuck like that. I don't know from personal experience. I already kind of start forgetting the events. Last day was just 4 days. We need more.
Yeah.
We demand more.
Abused it with like being like a shaman and like aiming bears to them.
You're lagging a bit.
Which has been pretty funny to do, but it's kind of like cheesy if you can just like outrun a bear and then kill him.
Rooster, you're lagging there a bit. But to explain what Rooster's trying to say, I can hear what Rooster's trying to say, but he's talking about what's it called? So beforehand on the previous update, we were able to basically tame / I guess you could say not tame them, but drag them or druid them. We were calling it druiding the animals across the map. So the new update for it actually fixed that problem, that it doesn't have them, following you halfway across the map to then attack some bunch of people whilst you have like a bear army behind you or something like that. So they've changed that and fixed that, of course, so it doesn't aggro stay forever. And yeah, it's kind of good though, because yeah, you just don't have an army of bears charging at you now at this time. But yeah, now the only difference is I feel like the speed of animals was a bit too fast. I don't know about you guys. What did you guys think? Steel Hand, Bias, Rivali?
Yeah, they're a bit speedy sometimes.
Bit speedy.
I mean, the animals just seem to spawn in front of you as you're walking. That's something I felt like needs to be changed.
Well,
and it depends on how many
is
near by you.
It's meant to be like that where they spawn in.
Oh, think of it like this: if I was like with a group of 50 people playing all at once, and we wanted to siege a castle, well, now we're dealing with animals that are spawning right in front of me.
Yeah.
So
it definitely that's why it's a bad thing. That's why we're talking about how we don't like it, because it spawns nice. The spawning is nice and random, is good, but the quantity of it, where you have a whole siege and an army, because we saw it before where we had a whole army and it was just spawning in millions of animals. There was like bunnies and deer, and then like some other bears were spawning in, and like I think a raven tree spawned in nearby. Like, where did that come from? We never saw that. I remember when I was attacking with like 6 people on one of the homesteads that was like built outside our town area on the west. We were just attacking it, and a raven tree spawned in, and we're like, that that was never there before. A raven tree just spawned in right outside, and we all panicked, and like a bird started flying down on us. Like it was the middle of the night as well. We didn't even see it, and all we saw was a bird fly down. Like, where did that come from? So the hell, devs, you spawned in a tree on purpose, right next to us, just to like taunt us or something. But yeah, definitely the spawn rate and the just the way it's placed, it should be fixed. And I don't know, something needs to be adjusted to it 100%. But let's carry on. Anyways,
I think the dens are fine, but yeah.
Well, yeah, the dens are fine, but they definitely weren't as good as what they are now, I feel like. But yeah, so now we have so we were talking about homesteads. I was talking about homestead needing doors. I feel like homesteads still need doors. What do you guys think of that? I feel like that definitely is like annoyance that we have no doors for our homesteads at all. I feel like the devs just hate doors in general.
They hate armor racks too.
And the spawning on
storage.
Top of the building, the spawning on top of the building doesn't help much either.
Yeah, that's why we spawn on top of the building. That's why they hate the doors. So you just don't think about it. You spawn on top of the building.
Yeah.
Like no doors for the homesteads or
the even the gay houses too. I mean,
modular
there's no barn doors.
Have modular homes still, but we'll see. Modular homes, it would be changes.
I think why the devs hate doors is like if you like spam open and close the doors, it just creates an issue with like the privilege of unlocking it. Like I know we've had issues in the past with like some sieges where like people didn't have privilege to the one door that led up to the armory, and then like a handful of people had to be like doorkeepers of letting groups of people in.
That's why you have a roof access. You have a roof access to get the hell out of there, to jump out, just to not do that. But yeah, I get what you mean. Where like it's a bit painful, but I don't know. I guess they need to work around that where it has access to whoever's part of the town or whoever's part of the, I don't know. Because it makes no sense
We're still 1 year away from the full release, at least, right?
What's that?
We're still a full year away from the full release, at least, right?
Yeah. So
full release, we're years away.
Probably more than a year.
Yeah, early access probably in a year or two.
We don't know.
I mean, Markfoot said, like, I jokingly answered to a person who was asking when early access starts. I said that it starts February 30th, which is obviously a joke. But then Markfoot replied to my message saying that that's not an unreasonable date.
Oh, okay.
So either he kind of fell for my joke and actually said, like, maybe early access will be in the beginning of next year, or he was also trolling. So,
all right.
To be honest with you, what we're playing right now is going to be full release. Well, I've always been a believer that what you're playing right now is what the game is right now.
We'll figure it out. Never mind. Let's
early access.
Let's skip that convo because that's boring. We can talk about that another time. But yeah, let's carry on. No likes. What is your no likes, guys? I've put just one down. I want to actually ask you guys about it. Was maps not being updated? Did your map ever not update when you like respawned back in? And let's say like there was destroyed structures or like.
Yeah, that happened to me with beacons. We would destroy a couple of beacons and then they would still show up, and until you didn't go to that exact point and see that it's not there, it wouldn't go away.
I hated that. That was like the most annoying thing, because I remember I was killing a load of beacons on the west side. I was having a beacon war basically with someone, which will also be my no likey point as well, which is actually really annoying. But it was basically I killed like, I don't know, 6 to 8 beacons of it, and then I had to keep going back to that rough area because I don't know if that was actually killed or not, or maybe he put a new one down that I spotted and I just didn't kill or something, so I had to keep checking them again and again every time I spawned in. So if devs can fix that, that would be great, because maps not being updated every time you log back in is like really just an annoyance. And yeah, so back to the beacon war thing. I don't know if how much you guys had a beacon war. I heard Vodka, you said you had a beacon war. How was that for you? Did you enjoy your little beacon war?
Yeah, well, as much as it worked.
Well, yeah, I know it was a bit of a 50-50. The reason also Beacon Wars work is because of the one thing, and it's the new homestead meta. So the homesteads that you can place anywhere is actually the problem. Is what it is. So the thing we were thinking about, where like, okay, what can we like? We like this new thing where homesteads can be placed anywhere and are still kind of connected to a town hall, and solos can have fun. But the problem is with these new homesteads is that you can place them anywhere you want, literally, and you can get the tools you need to build a beacon. So all you need is the sawbuck, you got your workbench, and then you then craft yourself your axe to then cut down the trees, of course, and then you get yourself a hammer, you get yourself a pickaxe.
Are you saying
then,
this because of the backline shit we did? Sorry, just had to put out there.
Oh, it wasn't just us. We did the same thing, dude. We were countering the same thing. It wasn't just you guys. We were doing the same thing to you guys, and we had probably 6 to 8 beacons in your area that you guys didn't spot for like 6 hours almost every time. It was just always sitting there like, okay, they have still not spotted this beacon.
I'm not gonna go through it because that's not my tactics. That's tactics, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah. But I will take the credit for the backline where me and Reggie did, because the first night it was literally just me and him, and we fucked shit up, boy.
Yeah, well, I was beacon hunting all of those anyways on the west side, so I managed to get everything. I think Alumja was the main person that I noticed as well, still sitting there. But yeah, we basically it's just so easy to make these homesteads anyways. Like, so they need a different change to it. They need something like, we was thinking, change the price. Firstly, change the price of homesteads from 10, those basic ones, from 10 to like 30, and then the large ones we could change those to 30 to 50 maybe, or something like that, because they're larger ones. So it makes more sense to it. But also, not only that, is the how do you say it? The
cooldown.
Time, the cooldown. Thank you. The cooldown, the amount of how many times you could place it down. So we were saying, once you've placed down a large homestead or a small homestead, you can't place another one down for the next 3 hours or something, because
but you could just get another person from your clan to do it. I agree with the pricing.
That's still a cooldown. It's still a cooldown. They have to come all the way over to build it and do it, and then I just come over and destroy it. Like, it's still not a problem, but it saves time on that problem, because now your homestead is gone. You're not going to be spamming beacons within the area, which cost really still cheap, I guess. And yeah, it saves the hassle of all of that, because now they don't have to like run around looking for homesteads or looking for beacons every 2 seconds, because the homestead's gone and they can't respawn, or they can't build more because they don't have the tools there. So definitely a cooldown and a price change of that is needed.
The price of the homestead definitely make it. Like 20 is generally like, it's laughable, overall. But just 30, 35, whatever. Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe make the beacons more fuel based. So you have to have like a patrol going on, like adding a bit of wood to the beacons or whatnot. And this would make like a role of people, like, okay, you're on patrol, go check the beacons, check for enemies, check for enemy beacons.
I think that's a bit more work then, because that's just a lot more effort than what it is now. But then
you, instead of having one beacon that gets constantly fucked and you have to rebuild it, you just have one beacon that you like. It should be a lower cost to maintain it than to make a new one, and then you can just bump the price of a new one to more. So it would make harder for people doing what you said. You just make a homestead, you start spamming shit, because then they would have to actually be maintained to a small extent, so it's not like, oh, we have to have 2 people full time doing this shit. But
Well,
It's
it
just
sounds like
like
you want that though, because you're saying that we have to have people now checking each beacon for the fuel, and if there's fuel inside.
yeah, but it's a gameplay mechanic that would counter
It's
the
like,
thing.
Do you want
No,
to
no, no.
volunteer vodka then? You're gonna be doing that for the
No. It's not about me wanting to do this. Is more like it's an option as a mechanic to counter the other stuff.
It could
I mean,
be, but I don't know. I
just
feel like
the idea
changing that.
might be a bad idea. I drink to
Yeah.
that. Cheers.
Yeah,
I dislike the beacons in general ever since they implemented them, because it makes it like a radar, and it's really hard to, like, how would I put it, do counterattacks or sneak attacks on enemies without being noticed already.
Well, that's the thing. You can destroy. You could you could be the
Yeah,
guy
you could
that
destroy them and you could build them, but it's a beacon war essentially.
Yeah, it is a beacon war.
I don't really like that a whole lot. Personally.
Maybe change the pricing of the beacons as well to be more expensive, so then you can't spam them across
what I was thinking
the
was
world like that as well.
What I was thinking is, like, beacons are built on certain outposts, and the outposts you have to build, and you put the beacon on top of the outpost or something like that.
So.
And then eventually, like, for example, it won't really show the red dots. It will just sort of blink. The thing will blink, and the faster it's blinking, it means there's like a bigger party of enemies there. And that might like bring out like a warning sign that, hey, there's a big group out there.
Raiding party splits up two ways. Like, how would the leaping, like, how would that be implemented?
Well, I'm thinking like a small flash, like a minor flashing, would be like 1 to 2, 3 people, and there'd be like maybe a really fast flash. That means like, oh, this is like serious, and there's like 20 to 30 people in there in this area. That might, and it might make it like a little indicator.
It could be like tiers of the fire, maybe, where like on the icon it shows like a tier 1 fire, then a tier 2, then a tier 3, showing like there's more people, less people, 1 person or something. 1 person detected is 1 tier 1, tier 2 is like several people.
And this way, it makes it where you're not staring at your map all the time, and you're saying, oh, there's like 20 people right in front of us. Oh, there's that guy south of us. Oh, there's you have to like maybe like stick together and watch out for like counterattackers, because you're not exactly sure where they're at, and it makes it. I think it would make more fun for battles, in my personal opinion. I know that's just me, but
it could be, but
I'm not a big fan of like the whole like looking at the map and then like, oh, there's like whatever amount up in front of me.
I still find it's not bad, because then like at the same time it's very painful then when if you then have no signal of where this beacon war is, because then you have a beacon war and then you're like, okay, well, he's in this area and this beacon is massive, right? Because the new changes now is where you have massive radars of the beacon, so you're gonna be like, okay, well, I don't have a bloody clue where he is, and I'm looking for this guy who's destroying my beacons, but I'm also destroying his beacons, and then it's gonna make the beacon war even more worse, and I think people are just gonna say get rid of them completely after that point.
Well, like, I mean, if you get rid of them completely at that point, I mean, that could be like December 15th, where it was like you had you just didn't know what was coming at you.
Maybe, yeah. So yeah, other stuff we were talking about apart from beacon wars and that is marketplace. We were talking about also. We didn't like it because of I guess it needs some work basically. So the marketplace definitely needs some work compared to what it used to be, but of course it is still nice. It is a nice change. It just needs work on either like when you submit items in like before, you do gain a little bit of silver, so you still gain a small amount of silver, but of course if you have the price higher than the default price, you gain extra like from I guess your profit for higher prices. But yeah, like it definitely needs some sort of rework where it's not just gathering from bushes you gain silver. You need some sort of maybe, because not that many people buy stuff from there. Like really, I didn't really buy stuff. Like I was only doing it a little bit of trading with one of our local towns once they finally got set up, but they still needed silver to get that set up. And
yeah, that's what I was saying about
I had to provide them silver. I said, okay, thanks for helping. Here's silver though. because I see you guys are decaying, so here's some silver so you don't decay and you guys can live, you know, because they can't get any other way of silver. Them selling items is not giving them money straight away, so we need that.
Yeah, I don't know how they remedy that. I feel like maybe there should just be like base items that just always give you like base amount of silver. So like you could sell like a log, for instance, and that always gives you like 5 silver.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you get the default price for what it costs, and then afterwards you gain extra if you sell it at a higher price or something like that, like a higher item for a higher price. But of course, I don't know how you'll receive that money. I'm assuming you have to just click it out straight away before someone comes in and be like, hey, he's putting something on the market, let's steal his money, you know, quickly before he takes it out himself. But we don't know. We'll have to figure that one out. So taverns, we were saying we love taverns because of the buff, but we also dislike taverns because it does make cooking useless. So like the taverns have a nice idea, but it kind of ruins the
I have
cooking.
something about taverns as well, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead then.
So it's kind of niche that you all have to gather in the actual thing to get the buff. Maybe once the town has a tavern, it just gives everyone that's in a circle of the town or something like that, so you don't actually have to go inside the tavern.
Yeah, but that's different stages of buffs. Did you notice there's different stages? There's like 3 stages depending on how many more people go inside.
Yeah, but you could just extend it of how many more people are in the town, and that's it. And anyone that's in the circle, you could just...
Because if you have everyone in the town gaining the buff, if one person eats or something like that within the tavern, then it's everyone gains a buff for it. Like they gain max buff, and I feel like that's just
well, everyone has to eat for once, and everyone has to be in the circle twice. Then it's just like instead of being cramped up in a building and having to everyone drop what they're doing, you could just like have everyone drop what they're doing, staying in the same place, just grabbing a bite at the same time.
Oh,
again, it's just an idea. Yeah, or I was thinking about this. Maybe you can add it as an upgrade to the homestead, so it gets a second floor with the tavern. Then the whole building would just be that, and regardless if you're upstairs or downstairs.
They should add like a barracks building where new spawns come in instead of having like the tents around the town center. Put that in there. But also, when it comes to taverns, I think it just could like go with like essentially having table food, and then you have ration food. So table food you eat at the table, and then the ration food you're eating it while you're at war or on sieges or traveling around and farming.
But I feel like definitely it still needs, so it does ruin the cooking because you can buy it with 5 silver. The pricing of all those foods is really cheap. So we were thinking, I don't know, I was talking to one of our guys who does all the cooking, who's our, I guess, head chef. Me and him had a little chat of like, okay, if we change the pricing of the food, what should we change it to? And this is including the cost of each item that is required to cook that item, and then the fuel cost as well together a little bit. So we said that bread should be roughly, I don't know, it was hold on. So bread was 8 silver instead of 5, of course. So we're changing all of them from a bit higher than what it should be. So it should be 8 silver for bread. Water pie is 12 because water pie actually has a lot of items that are needed to cook together. We don't count the water, of course, because water is free, but we counted everything else that was part of it to make the water pie. So that basically rounded up to 12. And for mead, unfortunately, there's no mead crafting. So we just took the water pie cost, and it was half of... so the stats you get from water pie, half of it is what you get from it is mead. So I think it's like, instead of 480 seconds of that same stat, you get 240. So we said it was 6 instead of that. So it does change it, but of course, it definitely needs some sort of change like that, where the pricing is different to what it originally should have been. because 5 for some of these foods is just atrocious. Too cheap, basically. It's way too cheap for that item, and it needs some sort of price change. But yeah, back to what we were talking about, also homesteads and beacon walls. There was another point I wanted to say about that as well, was that so it was about the decay for the homesteads need to be faster as well, because you can spam them so much, and if we do have a cooldown to it, the decay for these homesteads need to die quicker, because they can sit there for 24 hours decayed, basically, which is a bit silly, don't you think? Like, I don't know about you guys, but making sure a homestead stays dead for 24 hours is a pain. Because I can come back, let's say you go to sleep, I come back the next day, or the next 6 hours or something, and I bring my repair materials, I've got my homestead back up and running. It's not decayed anymore. It's a fresh homestead, back to T2, T3. And the cost of that is disgusting, because the cost of repairing it doesn't cost a lot of repair materials. It literally costs, I think, 10 hits, and you're back to your former glory of your homestead. So I don't know about you guys, but yeah, do you guys think that should be changed, or do you guys enjoy waiting for?
Decay goes hand in hand, you know, because you might have members in your homestead that might pull up silver. I know it saved me a few times when I had a
pull out silver from the bed. Destroyed homesteads, not decay of the actual homestead when it's alive. I mean,
when it's destroyed.
When it's sorry, I got it. Yeah,
I guess it's pretty new right now, but yeah, I would imagine like you could access stuff, maybe even take over. That'd be interesting if you'd be able to like take over settlements.
I think that's what really should happen. It should be a 24-hour period for the attackers to decide if they want to take it over, if they want to destroy it. It shouldn't be there's 24 hours for the enemies to repair it. It should be all the attackers' decision and none of the defenders' because I feel like if it's destroyed, you've won the attack and that's that. Like you should be able to do whatever you want with it.
It definitely is a pain, because I don't know if you I don't know. Hold on, if I could find a screenshot, I could try and find a screenshot. But in our homestead, on our west side, because of the homestead spam we did, it was just there was so many homesteads, and a lot of them were destroyed. So it was just like you had a whole countryside of just destroyed homesteads, and it's like, well, this looks like a real dump here, you know. Like it looks terrible. It's constant homesteads, and it's just all dead. So, and it stays there, like I said, for 24 hours. So it's just really long before you end up either killing it, or they can come back and repair it, and then it just refreshes the timer for it technically. So it's not really great to see. I can't find the screenshot I had of it, but yeah, basically they need something to change with that, and not only destroying. So the destroyed part of the homestead takes a while. Is also when you've destroyed a homestead, I feel like accessibility. So when a homestead is destroyed, accessibility for everything should be accessible for everyone. So, like, everything should be unlocked, in a sense, once you've destroyed the homestead. Because I guess that's like your padlock, and you've just busted the padlock down. And I feel like that's what it should be, where once you've burnt down or destroyed it completely, it should unlock every single box or everything else. Because the burning right now, they've messed up the burning, or they maybe fixed the burning, how it works again. Because before it was you burnt into an item, you had to wait until it burnt, of course, and then you have access to that item. But if you destroyed the homestead and you've burnt into this item, you cannot access that item anymore, because the homestead is destroyed, which means accessibility for everyone is gone. So I feel like the accessibility thing should be either it blocks the the friendly faction to not access it anymore, but the enemy faction can access it because the homestead is dead. So everything should be unlocked and should be available for the faction to basically steal and, I don't know, pillage or whatever they're doing, you know, to destroy it down to nothing. But yeah, I feel like if they can't allow also destroying decaying homesteads, destroy decay for homesteads to be less than 24 hours, then allow us to at least demolish it completely to 0, right? Like, I don't know about that. Do you guys think that should be allowed? That we can so I guess dehusk the homestead to 0.
I mean, eventually there'll come a point where they can do that.
Like,
maybe.
Get buffed. Like if you take stuff out.
Oh yeah, accessing the homestead as well is another thing. If you destroy the homestead, you have no access to the stuff inside the homestead as well. Like,
yeah,
it's so annoying. You lose access to everything. You've burned into all of this stuff, and now you got to be like, okay, well, I've burned into it. I've gained access, but now that the homestead is dead, I've lost all access. Now I have to burn more because I want to blow it up. I have to blow it up to gain access.
It's really demoralizing as an attacker when you're raiding somebody and then you're like, I guess we've did the ultimate task of destroying this homestead, but I guess we don't get to access anything and we just have to leave. Like, what do you like? That's so stupid.
Yeah, or you go, or the worst thing is when you go back. So okay, we've run out of torches. Everyone go back. Everyone leaves. They repair their homestead again. They fix their wall, and it's like, well, we've just attacked you. Now we have to do it again because we didn't have torches to gain access and steal your stuff. You know what I mean? Or because there's no more access because we've destroyed your homestead and we've burnt into the stuff, but we lost the access because it's destroyed homestead. I don't know. It's a stupid mechanic basically. It needs fixing. It needs something where enemy gains access, or the homestead at least doesn't cause a problem where if something is burnt into, they still have access to that item. But the friendlies don't because, you know, the homestead is destroyed and all that stuff. But yeah, there's also other things I wanted to talk about. I'm assuming, I don't know who experienced day 1 raid. Did anyone experience that day 1 raid?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Okay, well, when you destroy a homestead, people can still spawn in on that homestead.
Yeah, we got spawn camped a little bit.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you there. I think I was like, oh, okay, let them out, guys. Just these guys are new guys. Like, we were kind of just, I guess, going for the clan men more, but at the same time, we kind of let the people through because it was like they keep spawning.
It's alright.
Here.
It's alright. That spawn camp is why I'm gonna sweat my ass off next days. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, mate.
No, but it's a problem though. That's the problem. It should be that when the homestead is dead, the beds should die as well. Like, they should all just pop, or the beds should not allow people to spawn in. Like, whatever's inside that structure basically should just block it. Basically,
it should be disabled. It should just be turned off.
So spawns should be disabled once the homestead is dead, because it means your homestead is gone, and your pledge is gone basically for that homestead. So you should have no spawn anymore. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't fixed that. They love fun stuff. I guess that causes more problems. But I think that's most of my homestead hate. I don't know about you guys. There's a lot of hatred on that homestead, but I really just there's a lot of fixes that are needed.
I found something else. It's not really hate. It's more so I just wish you could see maybe the bigger homesteads on the map, like the towns. I feel like that would definitely help new players just kind of figure out where to go. Because I'm okay with not showing like stuff that's like, you know, maybe 10 or less players, or maybe stuff that's only tier 1. But I think as soon as you get to the higher tiers, I feel like you should be able just to see the homesteads.
Yeah, I think, when you're part of the town, you should see the icons for the homesteads already, even if you've not gone to that area.
Or even like friendlies and enemies, just to see like who the big players are. Because I feel like in general, if you're killing a town, the town doesn't really seem like it's that big of a you know,
A threat.
I don't really understand why you would really want to kill a town anyways, because it doesn't really benefit you in any way, but...
Ooh, you've just now made me remind myself of that next point. So when you burn a town down, guys, when you burn down a town, it only starts decaying the town structures. It doesn't decay anything else. That's the other new thing that's caused, I feel like, a major problem. So destroyed towns only just decay, what's it called? Oh, you're heading off. All right, see you, Mike. Thanks for the, you just DM'd, but thanks for coming in. So destroyed towns, yeah, only destroy town items. And yeah, so basically, even if your homestead is 20 meters away from that town, it won't decay because your homestead is alive, which is weird, isn't it? Don't you think it should be connected somehow? Or I don't know, there's something basically wrong with it where either it should cause more decay because of that, or I don't know. I can't think of it, but I feel like it should be relating to when your homestead is destroyed, then it should decay more. And yeah, of course, that town stuff should decay as well, but it's definitely a problem where it's not connected to one another, so decay timers are very different and very changed and a bit broken. You guys got anything else? Anything maybe to add? No, it's silence.
I can't think of anything else.
Silence of the lambs here happening. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't like that you can't see the fire pits anymore.
Fire pits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could see fire pits.
Yeah.
And it would be a nice marker for bushes and berries, or
we'll
where
put that next
wolves would
to
be.
Fire pits.
Or spawn points for copper. Example.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, it's true. There's a lot of icons that have been removed where you can't see anymore. So I don't know if that was also to fix a lot of clutter, but I don't know. At the same time, maybe have a way.
Well, I mean, they just removed dens, so like all the clutter's gone now.
True, but at the same time, that wasn't what it was. It was like where you had too many icons of like you had the refinery, you had the workbench or something, and you had something else, this and that. But I don't know. Fire pits shouldn't be a problem. But like, if there's maybe a group of them, it should change from 6 icons, let's say, of fire pits to then just 1 icon, where it's like a big icon, and it shows 1 icon of just there's fire pits within this area, or something like that. But I know I do agree where like stuff like that is not showing, and I've tried to put down something, and it's like there is a structure in this area that's blocking you. It's like, what is it? It's like it's a bloody fire pit, but I couldn't find it after like 2 minutes of looking around or something like that because of the icon not being shown, of course. What else?
I just don't even think that should be like enemy or friendly. Like I feel like because you can access
neutral.
that. I feel like it should be neutral. Like some of these things should just be neutral.
Make fire pits neutral. That's true. That's probably more agreeable because you do access it. I've used enemy fire pits. But then that should not block building as well, because that's what it is. Because it is neutral, so it should not block.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that should be neutral. I don't know.
Beacons.
I feel like if they did like a workbench that you wouldn't need anything. I feel like workbenches should just be neutral and just be building anywhere. Like you should be able to build an axe anywhere. That's kind of silly that you just like have to run around like fully naked. You can't have a fucking knife or an axe. You can't make that? Like why can't you make that?
If you make that neutral, then homestead spam's gonna be even worse. I mean, beacon spam's gonna be even worse. I feel like.
Well, like you don't make. I mean, you can't make a hammer. I feel like you shouldn't be able to make certain things. And I mean, even if that's the case, like you still need the planks and like I'm not saying saw pit. But you should be able to make hand tools.
I don't know if I think it was a bug, this one, but it was where the number on the town for homesteads of people's beds was no longer showing. And I think that was because the homesteads are disconnected now, and they're no longer connected to the towns. Is it was a bit weird because like I saw everyone's towns and I was like, wait, has no one got beds in their towns? And I looked at my town as well and I was like, wait, we don't have any beds? I'm like, hold on, we do have beds. So how does it work? So technically speaking, because there's no connection anymore between the homesteads and the town, they lose that bed spawn, so you don't know how many people actually live there or whether it's populated or not. So it looked like every town was deserted almost, in a sense, if you get what I mean. It just looked like empty towns because everyone had 0 on the amount of beds that was, or I guess spawns that was available. But yeah, what do you guys think of that? Should that be maybe fixed where it connects to it, or?
Well, I think it comes down to like the whole family hall and also the town center. So before it was just, everyone was at the town center. Now it seems like everyone's going to be at family halls and then occasionally going to the town center for like storage or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not sure how it's going to work out later down the road. I mean,
yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag right now, I think.
Yep.
I mean, like right now, like we got a player base of, like during I guess from the beginning, the first day, I think it was 260, but then it dramatically drops, within a few days, obviously. And I don't know. I mean, I think when people play, they really want to get into like sieges, but when they don't have anything to siege with, then, a lot of people are just kind of testing, which is, I guess, what we're doing now is everyone's testing.
Okay, this is gonna be my last one, but what did you guys use horses?
Not the last 3
a little bit.
No? Okay.
I like to.
Did you go in the wild with them and take damage from animals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now the last point is, how many times were you able to feed that horse to heal it up? Because I love the new feeding, like the less feeding of the horse, but at the same time I hate it because of one thing. When your horse takes damage within the wild, you cannot feed it because it will say this horse is not hungry, and it's on like, let's say 90% food, and it's like, it is not hungry. It's like, bro, you're on 10 health, you need to eat so you can heal up. I don't know, either they need to fix something where the horse has self-healing, like just natural healing over time when it has still loads of food, but it, I don't know, heals less maybe when it hits less food or something like that. Because
or maybe it heals in the stable. You take it back to the stable. You let that one heal. You take another one.
No,
I know. I know it doesn't.
Oh,
this
as
is
in
a
now.
suggestion.
As a suggestion.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, definitely something like that. But I don't know, maybe not healing in this, because like if you want it in action, if you're going to be in combat, where you're not going to go all the way back to your town to heal it in a stable. So
yeah, but it's still going to be better than what it is now. So
I mean, this wasn't a problem before the animals changed, right?
yeah, so
I feel like
a problem now.
I feel like it's just it's an animal change problem they need to fix. It's not really an issue because before it wasn't really that big of a deal.
It's the feeding issue, because now you don't have to feed the horse or the donkey as much. So now it's a problem because it will take damage, but it's still got full food, right? So it will take damage, but you can't feed it to heal it up, because that's the way it heals. Once it eats, it heals up, and then if it takes damage, it stops healing, and it just it won't heal up at all anymore.
Maybe they add like a different animation or something, like a brushing or like a washing, and that could like kind of heal it. Or something like that. I don't know.
True, yeah, that could be like,
because it also needs to be balanced for fighting as well. So like, I mean, you can't. I wouldn't like a horse guy running away 20 meters and then hopping off his horse and then healing it back up to full with the brushing or something. But just something like that. I don't know.
Well, it needs something new though, because technically that's what we did anyways with the horse feeding. We kind of ran away. We fed the horse because it was losing food, and it had like the food drainage wasn't too bad. I feel like it still wasn't too bad. Don't know why it got changed, but I think it was more for the donkeys than the horses. But yeah, like the when you feed it, of course it healed up, and then like, okay, I'm able to go back into battle again because the horse is fed and it's healing up slowly, back into battle. So yeah, maybe it needs a new healing method, or like you said, like brushing as well, kind of, or I don't know, something basically to change the balance where maybe if it's if it's using up more stamina when someone's riding it, it uses up more food, but when it's on the pulley thing to I don't know, let's say do the what's it called, the automatic sawbuck or the automatic forge,
the water hammer thing.
Yeah, the water hammer or whatever, you know, all that crap. If it does if it's on that, it takes a while to feed. Like, it takes a long time before you need to feed it again. Because I think that was the main problem that people were complaining about. They have to feed the donkey all the time because it's on the thing spinning round. It's like, yeah, but it's not too bad, but at the same time it's understandable. But it should be less food being used if it's on that, because it's not using as much energy. You know what I mean? It's just walking. It's not running. Whilst when you're running, it should use more food because it's using up energy. But yeah, that's I think that's my that's all my 2 cents. I don't know if you guys got anything else before we move on to this last bit. I think that's the main stuff. No? Silence of the Lambs again?
Sorry, dude, my mic's really shitty right now, and I'm in a bad spot.
Yeah, I heard it from earlier when you were crackling away. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think the other stuff I've got is mostly bugs that are just where you can't burn through gates anymore and gain access, which I feel like should be. I'm just gonna quickly write it down. That'll be my last point. Burning through gates, you gain no access to open. Because we used to be able to do that where you burned through something and you gained access, which was fun. But now I think it's a bug, and I think the devs did talk about it. So I guess we'll quickly go through this one very quickly. The animals. We'll kind of just, I don't know. We'll talk about, I don't know, we'll talk about 3 main things. Let's talk about just 3 main things here. We've got talking about spawning, pathing, and I guess, well, not pathing. I guess we could do I don't know, aggro. Let's go aggro. Yeah.
Re-aggroing.
The re-aggroing. So, of course, spawning, we have our likes and dislikes. Too many people.
Yep.
Too many people cause too many animals. What else we got here? We've got the technically the nice thing of it was, yeah, like we said, was it spawned in wild. It was more natural spawning. It's not like, oh, you have your dens, so no more dens.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
they have
those just natural spawning ones.
Big great. I don't know.
The pathing, I love. I love the pathing. I don't know. It's nice. It's very good that the animals aren't retarded in a sense. They they go the right way. They don't get stuck on anything. And they go round, including the horses and deer and bunnies. Of course, there's also still certain cliffs that a lot of these animals get stuck on. But I think that's just because they know that they can't run off a cliff, and they shouldn't run off a cliff because it makes no sense. But yeah, like I guess the pathing is very nice, and
they still run into deep water if you dodge it.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. That's the weird one still. I don't know about that. The deep water, I guess.
Are basically just steep cliffs without the rocks, so they just fall in.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
It's definitely. Well, you think they should also have full damage? Just live near a cliff, have a deer fall down the cliff, and it's like, oh look guys, meat has just fallen from the sky.
Yeah, I would dig that.
You're just walking and bam, a boar falls, or a bear falls right in front of you. Half health.
The new attack is much better than what it was before, 100%, and it's definitely, aggro is very strange because I've had it where it worked and then like it didn't work. So like you got out of range, but then it started stalking you, and it's like, okay, I'm out of your range, you know, stop stalking me. And it's like it's still stalking you, and then it attacks you. So I don't know if that was intentional or maybe, I don't know, it's a bug. Who knows? Maybe that's what the devs intended to do, where it was meant to, like, once every now and then you've got an animal that stalks you and then charges at you.
My guess is the devs, they changed the rate of animal spawns, and because I noticed over the various times they always seem to have different rates of animals.
I still think it's just like area. It's kind of like how the nodes spawn. They kind of linger in one spot because, like, for my experience, like trying to find copper and like wolves one test, it was just super hard to find anything. Like I had to go to like a certain spot on the map just to find some wolves.
Were you by yourself though?
I was with one other guy.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's that's what I think it's also a bit random, but it definitely has areas somewhere on the thing, on the code up. I'm assuming it's like these areas have to have these types of animals spawn in, maybe roughly. But yeah, all right, let's skip over that because I guess we won't have that random topic in deep knowledge. We'll just go straight to the drunken truths. These are just opinions, of course. So anything that you think maybe needs an extra change, maybe needs maybe something in the future you might want to see, anything basically that you got, like so I'm gonna put my first one up, which is tying up a boat. We were talking about this before, I think to someone else, where we want to see if we could tie up a boat. We have rope. We have boats, right? We have rope. Use the rope to tie up the boats, so they can't be stolen, or technically to slow down the person stealing them, I guess you could say. It would, so it takes them, I don't know, 10 seconds to untie this rope, so it gives you some time, or like 15 seconds to untie this rope because it's a tight knot rope or something, you know. So 15 seconds.
Oh, like cleave hitches.
Would that work for both, or whoever placed the rope has like quick, easy access off the rope, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe because they know how they tied it, so they know how to untie it. So, you know, maybe the person who tied it up, you know, can untie it really quickly.
I like it.
Or the other option was the boats was because of waterfalls, you can pick up your boat and go around the waterfall. So like pick up the boat like a ladder, and go around waterfalls basically. Yeah,
and you need 2 people to pick it up, like, or maybe even 3 to like go forward. It'd
be a bit difficult. So I definitely think if you have one person, you can drag it. But like, because if you think about it, how do you get the second person on the back? Well, you know what I mean? They're going to be in the water drowning. So you'd have to think of something where you drag the boat out at least with maybe the person or the rope as well. You know, drag it with a rope, and then you can then it's at a point where it stops and it blocks you. You can't drag it anymore, and then you have the second person jump on the back and start picking it up with you. Something like that, basically. So I think that should be definitely intended, because we can't build ports anymore, guys. We've lost the ability. The devs.
No, I made a port today. With
the new are you talking about test or dev branch?
Dev branch.
Okay, but then we're not talking about that. We're talking about test. We're talking about the old test. Not the new stuff. That's when it comes out. We'll talk about it. But yeah, you can't build the original stuff. What you were able to do, where you put the blueprint ghost, you delete the floor, and then the ghost stays, and you build that. Now it just deletes the ghost as well. So it's a shame, basically. But yeah, what have you guys got then? What fancy stuff you want changing to see? Maybe
I like to see more indoor type buildings, more variety when it comes to keeps.
Oh yeah, you wanted those tents in
Yeah, like think of it like this. You got one type of tent for like barracks or like a barricade type thing. Then you got another tent maybe for siege type equipment. You want to build a catapult, or there might be a tent where it's like a commander's tent where you could put like storage in it, and there's like armor racks. Armor racks are a big one in my opinion.
I'm gonna add that in straight away right after that. Armor racks, because we've wanted those for ages, Devs. Give us armor racks.
and like just basically, more type of buildings where you can like walk inside and there's like a purpose for it. And
about shelves or
that could be.
Guys, sorry, it was nice meeting you all and nice chat, but I have to go for now.
That's all good.
See you at the next one, and have a good one.
Thank you for coming. See you, man.
Cheers, brother.
But yeah, just a variety of type buildings, that kind of thing. I like to see factions having their own style of buildings, so that way it doesn't look all the same. So I could go into a remnant town and know it's a remnant town or a pagan town, or I can know what my buildings look like as an ancient, that kind of thing.
Or maybe they should add flags,
banners.
We've banners. We've won banners back, man. We had banners in an old test, but that was for that was the banners were used for there was like a plot basically.
Yeah, I think banners would be cool. Heck, even like like if like factions, if there was like factions in this game, maybe like having your own banner, customized banner for your faction.
Or
so
for
like
your own clan, or your group.
Yeah. So like one guy's probably, I know it might sound strange, but there was an RP clan at one point here in this game. I felt like with Wayward Vikings, even though they never done it. But I thought it was very interesting. Maybe having a mercenary group, that known for mercenaries, having their own banner. So we know like, and then you got like OG's banner and anyone else's faction banner.
The band without banners.
Or just having no banner at all, like whatever.
The bandits, man, we call them.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be nice to finally have. I've always wanted banners and flags or horns and battle drums. That's always been my.
I think it'd be really cool. Really cool to see like different types of keeps as well. Like you got some keeps that are really small, maybe for like small groups, but like all of a sudden, like let's say you got like a clan of 150 or 1,000 people in this one town. Well, the keep is going to be massive, obviously.
Yep.
So, and that'll be like the major town. Whereas like Order has maybe like 5 people on. We might build like a small keep for something, or 12 people on. And we might just have to build a small keep because the amount of numbers that we have aren't really
better than nothing, right?
But it's better than nothing. But like in terms of like different clans, some clans are bigger than others, and I like to see different types of keeps. So it's not always the same type of building that you come across.
I think everyone will have their own design, definitely. Like we have that.
And of course, eventually when it gets to the siege equipment, but I think main rain right now. When it comes to siege equipment, that'll be. I like to see it sooner than later because we could work out the bugs on it.
Well, they definitely will. They definitely will. But I feel like they're first going to add some smaller stuff before they add the siege stuff. They're probably going to add like more mini siege equipment before they introduce maybe the bigger stuff. Who knows?
Things for
they might add. Maybe a siege tower, maybe one day, because I don't know. We are gaining new structures, so maybe because the height of that is gonna need a new siege tower because of it. Who knows? But yeah,
and new combat, of course, and different variations of the combat. Maybe we have shock troops. We can have fire arrows. We can have horses on couching. Maybe spears to go against horses.
Did you say horses on couches?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. Couching on horses. But yeah, sort of couching on horses. But
crouching or couching? Which one is it? Are you laying on this horse or are you sitting on it?
Couching.
Or is there a horse couch somewhere?
I don't know. I think he's made a new vehicle I've never heard of before in Anvil Empires. What's a couch? Never heard of this structure.
Maybe like a thrust attack to him. Maybe, I don't know.
So new combat kind of moves, kind of is what you're saying.
Yeah. I think for a game like this, it might be cool to see if it like a rock paper scissors type scenarios, where
Parrying as well would be cool.
Well, no, mainly like like axes are against good with like the shields. Swords are good against like infantry, small time infantry. Maybe offering some type of shock troop out there where it's a two-handed weapon, and they can move around fast, but they might not be able to, defend very well.
Like bow riders.
Like an RTS, but in a scenario where everyone's a player.
No fire arrow, please, for history. Freeze wrote on the chat. He doesn't want fire arrows. But fire arrows are great. I feel like that's
well, fire arrows could be multiple things. Like it could be used against like structures.
It could light up the area. It could just create a little bit of fire within that certain area. Like, oh look, there's a whole group of them on that little
sounds like a flare.
Yeah, it's like a flare, but technically it is though. If you think about it, fire arrows did create light. So if you think about it, if that little bit of fire arrow makes a little bit of light for like a second, then that's all you get. You get a second of fire before it dissipates or whatever. So it makes sense. Like definitely needs to look at.
I can imagine a lot of groups are gonna work together. They'll be like in their shield walls and having your maybe archers in the back, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely would
shields
like to
together.
More usefulness for like the two-handed weapons, like the broadaxe.
Yeah, or spears.
It's just like it's just not good. It's just not good. There needs to be like parrying or some kind of shitty version of a block that you can do.
Freeze, there is no history in Anvil Empires. Since when were there dire ravens? That's not a history thing.
I've been attacked by a raven once though,
but not a dire raven.
No, not a dire raven.
You'd be.
It's actually a true story. I was on the Sea Scouts and I got attacked by a raven when I was out sailing, and there was like a bunch of ravens all along the boats. And next thing you know, I had like this raven trying to come on my head. I guess I was in its territory or something.
Must have been. But yeah, so yeah, what other stuff do you guys want to see maybe, or want to change or improve on?
We should probably cut it short because it's been quite a while.
Oh, it has. Yeah, it has been.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I do need to go to work, so I'll probably see you then for the next time.
I've got, I think, 2 more points that I just want to quickly add then before. So
okay, I can wait.
Actually, 2 points. Yeah, it'll be like couple quick ones. So the capture points for homesteads, I definitely think we should have that because we definitely want capture points somewhere or something where we can actually take over a town or a homestead. It would be nice to see that. Because then we can just, instead of destroying everything down to the ground or waiting for it to decay, we can take it over and then be like, okay, this is our now new forward operating base. Because that's what it was like in medieval times. They took over towns and cities and castles.
They raised stuff, they pillaged stuff, they would capture.
If they want to raise it to the ground, we can raise it. Like maybe have an option where when we destroy it, we have raise or capture. So I feel like that should be an option, and then like if we have the resources to capture, then we can like, I don't know, rebuild it with, let's say, some sort of material like plank or something, and it's back again. But yeah, that would be nice to have. I was talking about also how I wanted bronze again lowered back to. I want it, not back to, but I want it lowered because it's still pricey, and for the length we use it for, I don't think it's a lot. Maybe add more nails as well. We were talking about nails, different nail types.
Yeah, bronze nails would be cool. I think iron nails as well. I think the
copper.
That one guy, I don't remember what his name was, but he was talking about how you need higher tier nails to like repair higher tier stuff. So like for iron gear, you need to have iron nails or
maybe that'd be good, yeah. Or like specific tools and stuff, maybe, or even for upgrades, for upgrading like your town hall, you need iron nails to get tier 3 or something, or some other stuff to like to certain items basically need different tiers of stuff. Maybe for boats as well, if they add boats.
I'm a bit sad that you don't have to forge the nails. You just craft them. I wish you would actually have to forge them.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't you dare. Flipping, gonna have to learn.
It's
Gonna have to learn
realistic.
a new recipe to forge again. Oh,
Well, like that
maybe.
one would be like it would be like the bronze, where it's just there is no recipe.
just
You
smack it.
You just
Maybe-
smack it until it's cold, and then you're done.
Maybe if you craft them, you get 5, but if you forge them, you get 10. What about that?
Ooh.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Make craft 1 sword, get 10.
Yeah.
That was the.
So forging nails, you get more. Would be nice. Would be cool. So arc shooting. I don't know if I've spoken about this before. For arrows, arc shooting, because sometimes you're on the ground and you got to shoot up, and it's not fun. The way it works for arrow shooting up does not really work very well. So arc shooting would be nice. You can shoot over the little bit of that parapet that you keep hitting instead of just direct shooting. And yeah,
That could be added at some point. Maybe, I hope.
Definitely, I hope so. And I think that's about it, really. I think I've got also I think I've said this before, but horses shouldn't lose stamina when bumping into small animals. It's like, come on, it's trampling them. It's not really stopping my whole horse to lose all its stamina when because it's ramming basically. So they need to fix.
I think it kills the small animals now.
No, it has killed them. It takes away all your
It's
stamina.
it's ramming.
yeah.
That's what it is. It's ramming it. It's ramming the animal. Is what it's doing. It should just run over them or like kill it and then keep running. You know, not that you're ramming it and then it stops you. So I don't know. Maybe that needs a fix of some kind for specific smaller animals. And that's about it, really. I think spoke about the rest. Spoke about grindstone. Added that one in to repair tools and make them sharper. And
Yeah,
maybe
that
do
was
more
Solder's
damage.
idea. I think that's a great idea. It would make repairing, like, compared to repairing weapons all the time. I mean, this would be for like mainly for like when it comes out, because I could just envision like thousands and thousands of swords being crafted and they're never going to be destroyed. You know, they're just going to be in storage, recycling all the time.
They will when the next war.
Yeah.
Maybe like it's like a mini game as well. You have to do where when you're sharpening it, it's like forging. But instead you gotta sharpen it at the right spot. If not, you don't get the right tier back or something. Maybe you get like a lower tier.
That's it at the right. You know, you're doing.
Well, imagine like you forge the sword and then you have to grindstone it to sharpen the sword.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more like diminishing returns on repairs, especially in this game. I feel like you shouldn't be able to take like a sword that's no health and turn it to full health. It should be like 80%, and then the next repair it's 60%.
Exactly.
Repair it's 40%, and then what would happen is when you're grindstoning that thing, that determines how much health it gets back. So you can get up to 20% back or whatever. But if you do a shitty job, you only get like 40% back.
I'm fine with that, but only if they fix the like storage issue, because then that's gonna create like there's gonna be like a chest full of like different tier swords, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to.
That's why we want the armor racks, man. Because we have weapon stockpiles.
Yeah.
Give us armor racks, devs. Come on, just find some sort of stupid thing. Yeah.
Ammo racks on the walls. That would be cool.
Because it makes no sense, because we can't store armor anywhere except in the crafting bench, and that's like the most, or like barrels technically, which is really stupid. Oh, I think we can pile it up in the family hall, but yeah.
Yeah, town center.
But it's just it needs a change of something where we can store those. Because why store weapons when you can't store armor? Or shields. Make sure the shields also stay as well, can store, because oh my god, the amount of shields I always see just scattered everywhere. I'm like, goodness sake, shields.
That's my fault.
You can't even store money in your. Is it homestead? Yeah.
What do you mean store money? You can store money in a homestead. You mean the bed?
Yeah, the bed. You can't really store any of your own money.
That's good though.
You have to.
I like that.
You have to store money in the
homestead.
Centrals.
That's good
Central
though.
town.
I like that. I had too many people who had like 600 to like 1,000 plus money in their beds, and we're like, guys, we're decaying. I need your money. I'm gonna blow up your bed if you don't do it now. I was literally getting annoyed. I was like, I've had enough. Put it in the homestead or don't live it. Like, goodness sake, like we've had it before where
I've done it.
It's a bit
I've done
different
it.
now, but yeah. But
I got to the point where that one guy took all the money out of my homestead, and then I knew who it was, so I just destroyed his bed.
yeah, exactly. It's like,
And they logged back on and telling me, "Oh, how come you destroyed my bed?" I just said, "Well, I had to destroy beds because I had to move stuff around."
you should have just been honest. Like, no, you stole all my money, and I needed it for decay.
My God.
That's why we have now managers, guests, and members for that exact reason. That's a very good thing that we have now. But anyways, thank you very much for this. This was a this was a long one, which I wasn't expecting it to be long. I guess some of you guys were telling your own little fantasy stories along the way for some reason.
Well, it's only going to get longer with this combat update. There's going to be a lot of shit to talk about.
Definitely. We'll definitely also probably be talking about the next stuff that will be added in, possibly from the dev branch, which we've seen. We don't know actually when that might be added in, so it might not even be next time. But we'll see. Let's hope it does. But yeah, thank you anyways, guys, for coming in. Thank you everyone else who came and left anyways.
When is the next test?
Probably in a month's time, 26
I think
days.
it's July 4th.
Yeah, I know the month.
Kind of sucks, but
yeah, it was like a month's time, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, thank you everyone once again.
Branch.
We'll see everyone on the next test, and
See you then.
we'll
Later, guys.